fun, and a bing, bing, bing. And here we are. So it's the first, I think, now regular Agile Ventures new members meeting, which we're going to be doing every 2 weeks in this slot, which is we usually use for the Agile Ventures community meeting. And so today we've got here myself, Sam, and we've got João. We're both Agile Ventures mentors, and we've also got new member Faith, who's also joined us. Welcome, Faith. Great to have you with us. All right. Yes. And so here we are, and we can talk about anything we want, but we've sort of specifically set aside a bit of time to answer questions from new members about how they can get the most out of Agile Ventures and how they can get involved and what it's all about. So I guess first up, Faith, do you have any questions about Agile Ventures and how it works?
Not at the moment. So I was here last week for the new members call. I haven't been able to do much with setting up. So I just joined the call to hear what other people are asking about Agile Venture, but I've tried to go through the website. Yeah.
That's right. No, yeah. Which call were you in last week? Did you say it's local support?
Yes. I'm not so sure.
Or website one.
But Stella was in the call.
Then it was probably local support.
Yes.
So yeah. So local support. Yes, is one of our main Ruby on Rails projects, and yeah, I mean we have a general issue with all of our projects that they can take a while to get set up with before people can start working on them. That's kind of the this sort of sequence of steps. Actually, this time last week we had another new member here, even though it was the AV community meeting, and we were talking about the sort of the sequence and set of things. I wonder if I've actually got the whole list out that we had, not easily, but yeah, the different ways that one can get involved. So we have the Slack community where people can ask questions where we have the individual project channels, and then we have there are the Kent Beck and Martin Fowler kind of open scrums, shall we say, which is every Monday to Friday at it's noon and 4:15 p.m. UTC, and anybody can come in and get help and support on any project. And then most of the projects will have weekly meetings, and I think so you were in one of the weekly meetings last week, Faith. So for example, local support is at 4:30 p.m. UTC on Thursday, and so there's one can ask at any time in the project channels to get help and support. We've started to have for example, as well as alongside like a local support channel, there'll also be a local support install channel if you're getting stuck on installing things, and we've also got documentation on getting set up. But it's we would love it so that people could just press a button and they would be all automatically set up, but it doesn't always happen. Yeah, João, is there anything else like ways for getting involved? I've got some examples of locals, but anything else that people can get, pathways that they can use to get involved?
Yeah, usually like the easiest way is just to, if you poke around on the channels on Slack and you talk to people, you're able to talk to everybody. Usually we have like a very widespread range of hours. We have people like from everywhere. So yes, whenever you talk, usually you'll have someone that can answer you a question, or in a couple of hours that will happen. So I think like the easiest way is just for you to talk to people. And if you have anything that you'd like to do, like any special, if you want to learn a language, if you want to work in a specific theme or something, you can always pop into general and just ask around and say, oh, I have this, I like to do this. Or if you have a new project that you want to bring to us, just tell us like, oh, what, I do have this project idea that I had, and we'll talk about it. So I think like usually the main drive would be Slack, and then when you get something, when there's something that that you like, you just pop into that channel. Scrums are pretty cool to meet other people and to talk to them like face to face, because sometimes Slack is a little bit impersonal. So I don't know. But yeah, those are like basically the two ways that you can join any project or just get more information.
Yeah, great points there, Joao. Yes, absolutely. The scrums are good for meeting people face to face and talking to them in real time. Yeah, we do have a number of channels as well. So the general channel, you can ask general questions in there, although it's more just sort of for announcements of activities. We have the Tech Talk channel, which is specifically for any technical questions of any kind. We can't promise that we'll always have the answers, but you can ask anything there. We do also have the new projects chat room over here, yeah, where new projects get discussed, new projects get started up. If you've got any ideas, that's a great place to get into those. Yeah, and then there's you can browse all the different Slack channels. If you kind of come into Slack and the browser channels, I think we just click on the top level channel things. You can then sort of search through, and you can see a list of all the channels that exist, and there's usually one for each project. And then there's I was never in that channel. A JavaScript channel. Yeah, a JavaScript channel. Ooh, there you go. I'll join that channel. There you go. You can go in and find and sort of and chat. So it's a completely open system here. Does that all make sense, Faith? Everything making sense?
Yes, it does.
Yeah, good show. And I guess, so Faith, you're working sort of daily in Ruby and Rails as well. Are you using Ruby on Rails?
Yes, I'm using Ruby on Rails.
Yeah. And so you're maybe looking to get perhaps more experience using Rails in an open source environment.
Yes.
Would that be right?
Yes. So I'm doing both product and project management and Ruby on Rails.
Fantastic. Yeah. Well, we'd love to get you more involved. Don't hesitate to reach out on any of those channels, and we'll help you get more involved.
Awesome. Thank you. I'm so excited and looking forward to working with you.
That's great.
And then the Kent Beck, I would like you to explain the Kent Beck point you've just written.
Oh, sure.
What happens in this call?
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, I mean, they're kind of a bit funny names that we've used here. So Kent Beck and Martin Fowler are two of the original signatories of the what are they called? The Agile Manifesto. And of course, we're all about Agile here, and so that was the names we've given to a couple of the scrums. But so the scrum is this idea of having kind of a quick stand up. I might just mute you there, Faith, just because there's a bit of background noise recording there. But so yeah, the idea is that they're really just a stand up, like a stand up meeting, so that they are time boxed to 15 minutes or less. And so the idea is that in any given meeting, you might have, let's say you've got Stella and Ben and Lara are in the meeting. And so we'll do this. I don't know if you've ever done a stand-up. It can also be called a scrum sometimes. It's so basically each person will answer sort of three questions. Answers the questions, which are: 1, what did you do? 2, what are you stuck on? And 3, what are your plans? And we're pretty casual about this. We usually just say, how you doing? And people will tell us, oh yeah, I was just working on this pull request for Met Plus, and I'm stuck. I don't understand this error. And yeah, I'd like to make progress on that. Planning to do this other, issue or feature that relies on getting this done. And so they're sort of designed around just kind of communicating very, very quickly what you're on and where you're at. And the idea is that potentially people can get help from each other. But so what you try and avoid doing in the stand-up is so the first person, say that, for example, Stella was, oh, I'm stuck on this thing. You don't try and solve it immediately. People might say, oh, and they might start asking questions. And the idea is that the scrum master or the person who's running the stand-up or just the group will say, okay, yeah, that's okay. So Stella's stuck on this. Let's talk about that at the end. So the idea is that actual, the solutions or further discussion will go to the end of the meeting. end of the meeting. And so the idea is that everybody gets, you know, a minute or two to quickly explain where they're up to, if they're stuck, what they're planning, and you know, there's 3 or 4 or 5 or how many people there are. It gives you all an idea of what each other are working on, and someone might say, "Oh, you're stuck on that. I had that yesterday. I can fix that with this." Or someone might say, "I'm planning to work on this," and someone else says, "Oh, actually, I already did that. You don't need to do that." Or can we do that together? And so ideally what you do is you get round each person, and in a minute or two, you just quickly get this from each person. And then you get to the end and you can say, right, okay, we managed to do the scrum. Hopefully you did it in under 15 minutes. And then we say, right, scrum over. And then if there's a bit of time left, you might start looking at solutions together. But what you're supposed to do is, if there's more to look at, you would kind of plan another meeting to resolve any issues, to arrange a pairing session. So, you know, so then in the last period, it's like plan other meetings to resolve issues. But sometimes, you know, like if someone's stuck on something and we only did the scrum only took 5 minutes, we might spend the next 10 minutes looking at fixing that issue. Sometimes I'm kind of bad, and the scrum ends up being a pairing session for the next hour where we're kind of mobbing on the things. But anybody can leave at any time. You don't feel like you're stuck. If myself and someone, what often it will be is it might be a group of us here, and like 2 people are stuck, and I can see ways to help them fix that. We'll then kind of like carry on the meeting. Anyway, I probably spoke too much and too fast. Does that make sense at all, Faith? Have you done stand-ups before?
Yes, I have. It made total sense, and you're not fast. So.
Oh, you're very kind. You're very kind. Flattery will get you absolutely everywhere. Yes. Yeah. So it's basically it's kind of an online stand-up. Yeah. Apologies if you've already done stand-ups and you've probably got the general idea. The particular thing about these Kent Beck and Martin Fowler meetings is we basically allow people to talk about whatever they want, really. So, you know, there tends to be 2 or 3 projects. I mean, the people who attend these meetings tend to be working on 2 or 3 projects, like Local Supports, Website One, Async Voter. So we tend to hear about that set of projects. But in principle, anybody can come and talk about anything. I mean, if somebody comes in and says, I've got this closed source for-profit thing that my boss is paying me to work on, and I need you to help me fix it, we might say, well, we'd love to help you, but we're going to focus on the non-profit open source ones first. But in principle, anybody can come in and ask anything. And I think the thing that people like about this is, particularly for those people who would otherwise be working on their own, it's a chance to come in and just sort of connect with other people and you know, make it a little bit less lonely.
Makes sense. Thank you.
You're most welcome. It'd be good to see you, and I'm very, very pleased to see you at any of the future scrums. So some of the other sort of team meetings, they will like run scrums that are kind of, or stand-ups that are specific to the particular projects, and then have other chats and so on. But yeah, there's all sorts. Well, if Faith doesn't have any more new member questions, I guess there's room for João and I to just sort of have a little quick AV community meeting if we've got time. João, do you have anything on your mind? You're muted at the moment. If you, there you go. Yep.
Yeah, finishing the food. Yeah, in terms of AVs, it's basically like the things that I asked you before. More like about the charity part of it.
Yes, you were asking me about the charity. You know, what is the go on.
Yeah. Like try to understand, like we started a new year now. How do we set or who sets like the objectives for the year, and how that is done, and also talk a little bit about the I don't know, like, do we need to change the charity board when that needs to happen? Is that being thought like all those things. Like
Do we need to change the charity? What was there another word after the charity? It sounds like
board. Is it board? Board.
A board, yeah, of trustees.
Yeah.
Yes. Indeed. Yeah. So I can definitely talk to that. Any other questions in there?
Not questions. No, not this.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Well, we can maybe, we got a bit of time. We can maybe have a bit of a chat about that. So yes, so it is now. It's just over a year since we created the AV charity. Been around for a year, and the AV charity unlocked certain resources. So it turned our Slack into a paid Slack instance where we get to see all the history, and that's very nice. And we get various other features from that. We also get a $10,000 a month grant from Google AdWords, which is nice. We get various, basically the charity, the official charity status unlocks a number of funds and benefits that are nice to have. We do have part of creating the charity involved. If I can find it, can I quickly go like this? Fine. We've got a charity constitution, which if it's not immediately coming there, I'll find it on my drive. And that's been accepted by the UK government, and that defines our objectives as a charity. So on Google Drive, just find the charity constitution. I mean, it would be nice to sort of, it's it was one of these things. That was the one that was submitted there. I mean, this is an open document that anybody can see, and the objectives are kind of like our details and status as a charity organization are up there. I'll share this link here in the chat so that you've got access to it, and I'll put it in the Slack as well. But so you can see here that these two objects. I'll try and make the text a little bit larger. Come back over, and of course you can potentially read them yourself in the document if you open that in another window. But so we've got these two objects. One is to promote the language is kind of strange. They kind of encouraged us to have this particular language in order to get approved. But so to promote efficiency and effectiveness in the charitable activities of not-for-profit organizations, voluntary groups, and charities, including by providing software project management services and software development. So this is, one of our pillars, and that's exemplified, for example, by what we're doing at the moment for Met Plus and the Pets workforce projects, where we did a lot of volunteer work to design the system for them, and we're now providing paid services in terms of supporting their infrastructure and so on. And there's various charity groups that we're supporting. So one of our objectives is to do more of this. And then the second one here, we've got the advancement of education, including by providing the opportunity for members of all over the world to develop their software development and project management skills by working in teams and contributing to projects with not-for-profit organizations, voluntary groups, and charities. And I was quite insistent that we had these two objectives. Some people were saying to me, it would be simpler to get approved if you just had one. I kind of see this as the core of Agile Ventures, that it's not just that we're trying to be an organization that helps charities with their technology solutions, and there are many existing groups like that, both for profit and charity organizations. And it's not just that we're about education, we're about excuse me, education at that interface where we've got teams of people who are learning, and they're volunteers, and they're kind of like learning about programming and learning about team skills, and that they are involved in helping deliver solutions, open source solutions to these charities. Although I guess the open source word doesn't appear in there, which maybe it should do. But anyway, so that's kind of the key objectives there. And then so the whole, all the description about how the charity. And this is quite a big document, and this is based on the explicit template from the UK government for creating this kind of what's called a CIO, which is a charitable incorporated organization, which is it's a relatively new thing, and we just sort of followed advice about what to do there. But so this document contains all the information about the rules about conflicts of interest. People who are on the board of trustees, must declare conflicts of interest. mustn't be involved in voting on things that would affect themselves. And we've got this, details about membership and so on. But so if we look for trustees, for example, in order to answer one of your questions, João, we've got, let's see if I can find it. Oh gosh, well, probably that's the annual. I just want to find the annual. So there's certain things that we have to do within 18 months of starting the charity, one of which is submit our first year accounts. The other one is to hold an annual general meeting. And so there we go. So types of there must be an annual general meeting, AGM, of the members of the CIO. The first annual general meeting must be held within 18 months of the registration, and they must be held at an interval of not more than 15 months. So at the AGM, we've got to present the annual statement of accounts, and we must elect trustees as under clause 13. So there's something about we've got to turn over, like, the trustees, that there sensibly needs to be 4. We've got 3 at the moment, and we're just interviewing a 4th. And what is this? Section 13. I mean, that's 11. So there's probably something, I think. Oh gosh, charity trustees, eligibility for trusteeship, number of charity trustees, and then appointment. Right. So we've got these. Is at the first AGM, all of the charity trustees have to retire, and then. So I think I'm not sure if they can then restand for office. This is at every subsequent annual general meeting, 1/3 of them must retire. The charity trustees to retire by rotation shall be those that have been longest in office. Yeah, so it's then. So I think then the people who become the trustees at first and subsequent annual general meetings get voted in by the membership, and we've made it that the people who have voting rights in the annual general meeting are the people who have premium face-to-face membership. So I mean, the way that charities normally work is you have to pay to be a member and have voting rights, and we've set it up so that specifically at the top tier of premium is when you get the voting rights for the annual general meeting. So then in principle, yeah, it will be the set of people who are at premium face-to-face level membership will be the people who are electing the new charity trustees, if that makes sense. And I'm not sure if the people who just retired can. Is there something about how many times you can stand? Sorry, go on, João.
Okay, sorry, I was reading. So my question is, we are at 12 months now.
Yes.
When do we need to do this in the next 6 months?
Yeah. So we got.
Do you have any who's gonna be responsible for organizing this? When you?
I mean, yeah. Basically, I don't think it defines who has to be responsible.
Yeah, I'm quite sure it doesn't there, but someone needs to be responsible for that. I was asking more, are the trustees the ones responsible for doing that, or will you be doing that? If so, do you have any idea when this is gonna happen? And this was the part for
yeah. I mean I haven't. I mean, I think that it's the responsibility of the trustees to ensure that it happens, but it's not the responsibility of the trustees to actually arrange the event, if you know what I mean. They can. And so, I mean, I was a trustee and I've stood down, and now my company, NeuroGrid, provides kind of the core Agile Ventures functions. And so, it makes sense to me that it's as a kind of co-founder, I want the charity status to be maintained so that we can continue to have the Slack and the all the other benefits that we get from charity status. So yeah, I'm also, independently of AGM, I would really like to have a Agile Ventures conference where the different projects can present what they've been doing, what they struggled with, and so on, and sort of create an event of that kind where we can also have the voting going on. At the moment, I'm focused on just making sure that we get this 4th trustee member to join now, and I think and then move forward to planning the AGM as well as sorting out the accounts. But if you've got like a suggestion for when you'd like it to take place, I can try and make it happen at a time when you would be available to attend. So, you're very important. I want to absolutely make sure that you can present on, Met Plus and your experiences with Agile Ventures.
Yeah, no, I was just trying to understand like what's the like the path forward, and that's where I ask also about the objectives. I understand like those are the general objectives for the charity as a whole, but I think I don't know if this is something that was thought or not. If wouldn't it be like good to have some sort of objectives per year or something that we want to achieve? And something like that.
Yeah, I mean that's a great suggestion. And I mean at the moment we haven't. There's nothing explicitly that says we need to have objectives for each year, but we certainly could.
Yeah, I was not talking like legally,
right.
Terms.
Yeah, I don't think.
Just 1 second. So Faith asked about the trustees, and so basically the trustees are just like the board of directors or something like this. Like if you see a company that has like a general assembly and you have like those people that are responsible for let's call it more or less ensure that everything goes okay on the company, the trustees basically that job. So it's a group of people that make sure that all the regulations are being followed and make sure that everything is going okay. They are not usually like operational.
No.
So, but they are more just an advisor that manages everything.
Yes, and they very specific. I mean, the role of the trustee is that they need to make sure that the charity is, following, legal procedures, and that it's, upholding the objectives. So, say for example, Agile Ventures, set up, right, we're going to help this oil company develop this software for money, and that if that was something that Agile Ventures was doing, and the trustees could rightly ask, is this in line with the charity objectives? And then it would be great, like, well, if the project could be demonstrated, well, actually it's going to be open source and it's going to be part of a big educational program and all of the learnings from it. And I mean, the burden would be upon the people sort of working within Agile Ventures to demonstrate to the trustees that whatever they're doing is fitting with the objectives of the organization. So and the trustees could, say, we're not convinced that this project, like, here you are getting paid £1 million from this oil company and it's all going to be closed source and there's not going to be any benefits for any non-profit groups or any education from this. So you can't use the Agile Ventures name or bank account in order to do this, if that makes sense.
Makes sense. Thank you.
Yeah. So absolutely, as João was saying, the trustees, are not involved in the day-to-day running of the charity, but they're, would be present for the, these general meetings and so on. They're making sure that it's all, above board and not some kind of front. So they are tasked with ensuring the legal status of the charity. And so going back to, I think, João, you were saying, I don't know if you're asking if there was any legal framework for the year's objectives, and I think the answer is no.
No, I assume that was a thing, like that there was no like requirement legally to have objectives and stuff. I was talking more like about us as a community, as a
yes.
charity. Is that something that we're interested in, like having objectives that we can just like measure out? How are you going? like in our path, because like we talked some time ago, we talked a lot about trying to increase the number of people that we have, the number of premium people, and so on. But there's never, we have no clue like how much should we try to do that, like, and things like that. Like, what are our objectives, and try to come up to those numbers and things like that. And I was thinking if that's something that we want to do or not. That would be like helpful for us, at least to understand where we are, and do we need to do anything else, or are we okay?
Yeah. No, point taken. I mean, and there is that kind of calculus operating in my mind, in that, in order to allow me to devote the amount of time that I do to Agile Ventures, then we need a certain level of income. The things that the state of affairs at the moment is that we have, a certain number we have premium members. We also have these kind of corporate members, shall we say, or they're kind of like org members, and between them, I think that they are generating in revenue about the order of £1,000 a month or so. I mean, I need to kind of like go back and go through the figures. And then we also have like the NHS contract, which basically also for the period of a year, if we split it up, gives about £1,000 a month. And between these two, these have covered like the core Neurogrid contract for supporting Agile Ventures. This is basically just enough for myself and my family to live on at the moment. So this is basically supporting me, making sure that all of the premium members' needs are met, that the NHS contract is delivered on, and for a year, which we've got about 4 months of that left. And so the big objective for me personally, to make sure that we can carry on as we are now, is increasing premium members and getting more contracts. So if we got another contract of the size of the NHS contract, then that would basically mean, for another year, that would mean that we could survive at this current state of affairs without needing an increase in premium members. In the absence of such a contract, we kind of need to double the number of premium members, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Although the reality is, if we don't achieve that, what it will just mean is, I'll stop getting paid and I'll start doing it on a voluntary basis and have to go and, do a different, do lots of other non-open source work in order to pay for my kids to eat. So at the moment, we've got this sort of, I basically worked out last year that the combination between where we were with the income from the premium members and the on NHS contract is that would just about give myself and my family enough to survive on. And so what we're doing with it, so I stepped down from the board of trustees because it would be a big conflict of interest to have my company paid in that way. And so now I'm submitting monthly reports to the trustees on, ensuring that the premium mob sessions are running, the premium face-to-face sessions are running, that the core projects, which are defined as local support, Agile Ventures, and there's also one, and Async Voter, are running. And then, of course, now we've added in the Met Plus, which I'm delivering on, the DevOps support, and so on. So, and then there's also the order graders. I mean, UC Berkeley is supposed to start paying us. So there are other like smaller contracts that we've got going on, and the premium members, it's like gradually ticking up, like just ever so slowly. Like we get like one cancellation or one downgrade and then 2 upgrades a month. So, I mean, that's kind of, forgive me, it's all rather specific. In my mind, the calculus is all about balancing this out so that I can spend as much of my time as possible on Agile Ventures. What I would love to get to is a state where afford to be paying other people as well. It's kind of I think it's good to have me doing stuff, but ultimately, the charity will survive, I think, far better if it's not just all about me, and we've got other people, paid to be working on the different parts and components of it.
Yeah, makes sense. So to answer your question, Faith, premium members, we have our regular members that are people that just are in and just work in projects, and usually that's where a new member will fall in when you start, and then you can upgrade to a status of a premium member, where you would be someone that will have access to other resources. You can take a look at the website. The website has some more information about it. But basically, you can have like one-to-one sessions with, at this point, I think it's almost all Sam. You can go, depending on the type of premium you have, you can go to mobbing sessions with other people and to just mob. Do you understand what the mob concept? No? Okay, so basically, it's like, instead of you being coding by yourself, you have like a group of people that are trying to code something, and they are all together, like in a chat room, no, like in a video conference, and they are all programming together, all developing together. So that's the mob part. That's also another type. And as Sam is showing there are like 3 types of premium members. You can go through it and understand a little bit better what's there. And the organization that we're talking about, the organization members, it's just like other organizations. Like, for example, MedPlus is a charity in the US, and they asked us to develop a website. And now at this point, we developed the website, and now we are giving them support, and they are part of our organization members, and we support their website at this point, and eventually in the future we'll continue increasing more functionality as they want it. So basically, these are like the organization members. We have premium members, and we have the majority of Agile Ventures people. Did that answer your question?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Cool.
Thank you.
Awesome. So yeah.
Just before you go on, Joe, I was going to say, of these different, we've got these different levels. We've also got, if you're interested in seeing specifically what happened in a mob session or a face-to-face session, so we've got that we do actually have this sort of free premium. So you can if you follow Agile Ventures on social media, then you can have free access to a mob session. And we've got actually a video there of our first RSpec mob, so you can sort of see what that's like. We've also got for the face-to-face, which is like one-on-one session with a mentor, which is usually me. We will get, again, if you follow me on social media, then you can get a free one of those, and there's a video of an example session there, actually programming with Zamago on local support. But yes, so yeah, all those links there going into the side there for you. Sorry, Joao, just was going to add those resources. Yeah, do go on.
Yeah, good. So yeah. So are you okay, Faith? Everything good?
Yes. I'm just curious to know what social media you're talking about. The Facebook, Twitter, Instagram.
So social media. It's Twitter and Facebook and LinkedIn are the 3. But if you look at those links that I sent there about the mob offer and the face-to-face offer, they've got direct links that you can to the particular social media things to follow us on, and then you can take advantage of the offers.
Gotcha. Thank you.
You're most welcome.
Cool. That's what I was talking about, like the objectives and stuff, so we can understand a little bit better where we are and where we need to be. I think that might be something interesting to think. I don't know. I don't know what other people think about it. But yeah.
Oh, go on.
No, just shoot.
I was going to say, yeah. I mean, I think it's great to have the objectives, and there's been some discussion. We do have weekly marketing meetings with a group of folks who are, particularly interested in, presenting Agile Ventures to the outside world and increasing understanding of it and getting more people involved. And Lara and I have been talking about, things that we would like to do this year include like a sort of a website redesign and refresh. And, we've had, a nice design. We've had this framework is it's like 4 or 5 years old, and that's nice. But I think it might be nice to have a kind of a refresh of that and try and. I think that there was a huge effort to put together the original site, and a lot of people learned a lot through doing it. I think people often come to the site and are maybe a bit confused about what it is that we do, and how they can take advantage of the value that Agile Ventures offers. And so we're sort of doing kind of website redesign as an opportunity to try and make that clearer to people coming to the site. And so we've got these, like 15,000 people or so coming to the site every month. We've got a fairly large number of them signing up to become free members, but then and a smaller number coming into Slack. We have relatively few who actually make it into meetings like these, and similarly quite few who actually start contributing to projects. And I think it's, we speculate about why that is. It may be that we're just very, very free form, and for a lot of people they need a bit more structure to say, what do I do next? How do I carry on? And so on and so forth. And I think this is maybe a bit woolly on the year. It's not specific numbers like doubling the number of premium members or doubling the number of.
I was not thinking about that specifically. Like we can just crunch on numbers and look at it. Oh, we need 10,000 premium numbers, and we want to get up to 5,000 this year, and so on. I'm trying to like think, and especially with my experience here now with MedPlus, I feel that if we really want to get contracts and people, we need to have more structure. Mm-hmm. That's like the feeling that I have, and what I felt like. That's why, like, I talked about so much in the last couple of months, especially because, like, I feel that if we want to be able to let's say catch some more people and try to get them together and try to grow the community and get money for your children to eat.
Indeed, I'm a big fan of that.
I think we need to have a little bit more structure, and we need to provide a little bit more the services that we provide. We need to provide them, I think, in a little bit of a different way.
Sure.
So I don't know, like I know we talked around this like a couple of times already, and but yeah.
I think we're on the same page there in terms of needing more structure. I mean, we've kind of gone for a zero structure approach in many aspects. There's a lot of stuff. I think it certainly it feels, my intuition is that we need more structure, and like a pathway, a plan for people, whether they are new members coming in or new organizations trying to figure out how they're going to work with Agile Ventures. They need to be kind of not like in a straitjacket, but they need to see this is the sequence of things that we would do, and we need to do that. I'm not sure, when you say that you think the services need to be provided in a slightly different way, I'm not sure. I mean, that's very possibly true. Can you be more specific?
Like, the feeling that I have, like, with this MedPlus experience is like, I was trying to do something, and I felt I didn't had like enough support that I could lean on and could like move forward with it. And it was very hard, like with this, where we are like, we are completely like zero structure. It's hard, like when you talk about prices to our customers, when you talk about what kind of service we can really provide to you.
Yeah.
It's very hard because like even with a website that has some numbers and have some letters saying what's gonna be there, you never know, because till this point we worked fine because we didn't had like this idea that we wanted to build charity, and we wanted to eventually get some people paid to work there and so on. If we don't have this, it's fine, and we don't need to have like any structure. We can keep on as we were. And if we had projects, we had projects, and then I don't know, like I don't have a clue what happened with that project that we had with it was like the migrants, I think. That we had. Like I have no clue what happened with that. Are we still supporting client with that? We don't have like anything? It's very strange. Like when you think, did we had projects that went forward and are currently still working? And if you don't have like any example to give to people, it's hard to make them come and
stay.
Even if it is to people that are being our premium members, or if they are like organizations that would be interested in working with us.
Absolutely. Yes. So this is all extremely useful input. I mean, I've got about 5 minutes left. I might just talk about some of these things. I think probably to agree with you. I mean, I think what we have, and this is sort of part of the quintessential challenge that we have with Agile Ventures and what we're trying to do with these two pillars, is that I think when we talk about like volunteer projects, you know, what we often have is that we have people come in, whether they are clients who want stuff done, or it's coming in with a person who's a developer who wants to build stuff from a client. We have extremely variable levels of commitment. So the migrants project was something that I believe Thomas started, and then anyway, I mean, I think there was some energy around that, and then there was some like interpersonal conflicts that I was hearing about that I think put off some people. I mean, so we have variable levels of commitment. There's also this tendency, like, I don't know, sometimes we kind of get people who kind of come in and they'll make a lot of noise and sort of question and like every decision, but then actually not necessarily contribute very much. They just sort of want to have the discussions. And so, like, unlike a situation in a company where it might come back to a manager and the manager say, look, we're going to reassign you to a different team or this and the other, because it's this very loose, open structure thing. There's like all these variable personality types. And kind of some projects will kind of live or die depending upon how whoever happens to be the project manager manages to handle the groups of people. And so we've got certain projects that have been kind of long living, like Local Support and Website One and Met Plus and so on. And I think it's a big function of, just who happens to show up, if you know what I mean. Does that address sort of a little bit of this one?
Yeah, that's good. But then, like, if we can't get like at least like a baseline, if you can't have like at least a couple of people or something like that some sort of a base that we can rely on, it's going to be very hard if we want to try to tackle like other projects. Like, for example, for the NHS, you'd have to be the one to do all that by yourself.
Well, I mean,
because
yeah,
because we need some reliable. We cannot be like relying on variables and people that might show up or might not show up. So that's
Yeah.
like
absolutely, which is part of the idea that so in the premium model, that people, the premiums are eligible to work on the paid projects. So part of the idea is, it's this is, volunteer projects are a real challenge to deliver, although they can deliver things with luck and the right, pushes in the right directions and so on. The idea partly is that, the premiums, by the fact that they're contributing money to the organization, are indicating a higher level of commitment. And we are I think now we've got like a lot of, the people working on at least these two projects are premiums. So then the challenge we've got at the moment is that we've got these paid projects like the NHS project. We've also got like another one, which is the Anthony Powell Society, and I've got discussions with another group next week. The weird thing is that we've got this, to deliver on these projects on what the people want. Like this is using MediaWiki PHP, right? And this one is using like MS Access and WordPress. And ironically, like the stuff, the cool, funky stuff that everybody wants to work on, like React and this, that, and the other, is not the right technology choice for the kinds of projects that we're getting in at the moment. Although that may change. So I mean, this is the trick: is to try and to land projects that it will use the technologies that the people are excited about learning. I mean, I'm very at the moment. I've got certain premium members helping me out enormously on these projects, and some of them are being paid for their time, and it's all little bits here and there because the scales of these are not very large. But I agree with you completely that we need a lot more structure in order to get these things done. Yeah, with Met Plus, really, we needed a lot more planning in order to deliver over the last 6 weeks a more professional service to Chet. I feel like in retrospect, it's like, well, it was sort of the first time we were doing this, and we need to get a lot better at this fast if we're going to keep on doing this. Although there's a bigger question in my mind about the price points and this, that, and that. But we're maybe out of time for today. I mean, I think I agree with you, and I guess the trick is we need to like sort out the we need to sort out the structure and the plans for whether it's individual members or organization members, and get that documented and get people using it and iterate and improve.
Yeah.
All right, and we've got 2 viewers now. There you go. See, what exciting discussion. We've like moved up in the tail of internet content. Do hope, and of course, people will be watching this, in the future. Do come and get involved and help us, improve the structure of Agile Ventures. We're following the Agile model, which is to sort of like get proof of concept. People are paying for pre-membership, they're paying for the non-profit organization, but we've got to iterate on how we do it and make it better. And then, so please come and get involved and help us do that. All right. Well, Faith, it was lovely to meet you. Joao, a pleasure as always, and fantastic feedback. I hope we can have some more chance to talk and hammer out these details. It's going to make us better and stronger in the future.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
All right.
Okay. All right.
Bye for now. Take care.
See ya. Bye. Nice meeting you, Faith.